Oops, if we have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's coming. Mayor Racy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Here.
Councilman Miller,
Present.
Councilman Webster,
Here.
Councilman Dowd,
Here.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Here.
Councilman Wagner.
Here.
A quorum is present. Number 1, approve agenda.
Move to approve without exception. Second.
I'm sorry, who supported that? Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2, city council minutes, the regular meeting of February 19th, 2019.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 3, request. A, approve a resolution to declare March as Women's History Month.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any comments on this? Yeah, if we can have Eileen, the city clerk, if she could read this for us, that'd be great. And I wanted to thank Councilwoman Skiff for bringing this to our attention and putting this on the agenda.
City of Wayne Resolution, March 2019, Women's History Month. Visionary women, champions of peace and nonviolence. Whereas in 1987, Congress declared March as National Women's History Month in perpetuity. The theme for 2019 is Visionary Women, Champions of Peace and Nonviolence. And whereas Women's History Month helps look back at the barriers women have had to overcome to be accepted as equals to men in society and in the workplace. It celebrates and commemorates women who have helped promote the cause of womanhood. And whereas, for generations, women have resolved conflicts in our homes, schools, and communities. They have rejected violence as counterproductive and stressed the need to restore respect, establish justice, and reduce the causes of conflict as the surest way to peace. They have expanded the American tradition of using inclusive, democratic, and active means to reduce violence, achieve peace, and promote the common good. Women in all walks of life lead by example. Mothers, aunts, sisters, and grandmothers have shown the next generation of young women they can be and do anything. They can set their sights on the stars and actually go there. There is no profession, job, calling, or expectation they can't achieve. Now, therefore, I, John P. Racy, Mayor of the City of Wayne, on behalf of the City Council and all the citizens of Wayne, do hereby proclaim March 2019 as Women's History Month to show the important role women have played in shaping our nation and the world, whether in the fields of science, politics, environment, legal, the arts, and so much more. Signed and sealed this 5th day of March 2019.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4A, approve calling a special study session to discuss the budget on Tuesday, March 26th, or Wednesday, March 27th, 2019, at 6 o'clock p.m.
Wish of council?
Move to approve.
Which day?
Which day? Can they just make a motion to approve it and we'll just discuss? And then-
No, because I have to publish it in the
I
newspaper.
mean, we will, but so they can discuss what day, because we haven't had a discussion on which day.
Certainly, you can do that.
So that we can just,
Actually, the motion should be to approve either
Okay.
March 26th or March 27th.
okay.
Tuesday. Either day is suitable for me. I can speak on my.
So we got a motion first.
Support.
I say motion for Tuesday.
Okay, then we can do it that way.
We could do that.
That would be a proper motion.
Okay.
Is there support for the Tuesday, the 26th?
Support.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4B, approve an agreement with Sourcewell, a public entity which procures products and services and makes cooperative purchasing contracts for its members. This service is at no cost to the city.
Move to approve.
Support.
Okay, city manager, could you give us an explanation of what this is?
Certainly. Ed couldn't be here tonight. The agreement that we're looking at is free of charge to the city. And the reason it's free of charge to the city is because Sourcewell gets its funding from the vendors, approximately 1% that use their services and advertise their product. So what this agreement is basically, the reason that the DPW brought this up is because they want more options to procure products and services. And so they looked at other communities, Westland, Garden City, Dearborn Heights, Inkster, and others in the surrounding area also use Sourcewell. And they provide the same services that like we do with Minton and Mishdeal, but they do it in a national level. And so this is going to give us a much more broader ability, especially on equipment, because they need a larger scale of products. So I think this is a great idea. I thought it would be a good opportunity for the city to look at saving even more money on some of the purchases we're making.
Question. If we enter into this agreement, are we limited to buying all equipment from only them?
No.
No, okay.
Anybody else?
Mayor Racy?
Yes.
Just to confirm that this does not eliminate RFPs or of any purchases that would come through this organization and then would come to council for approval.
That is correct.
Just
It
want
would
to
still come
clarify
to
that.
you. Yes, that is absolutely correct. And the charter requires that as well. Thank you.
Anybody else? And I believe they use this for like playground equipment for Parks and Rec type of things too, then you buy stuff out of state. So I think there's a bunch of things that we may be able to find some better pricing with having this ability. So I think it's a nice thing that they brought to us and could hopefully save the city some money in the future. So, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4C, approve an agreement with Close and Associates PC, doing business as Close, Russell, and Worth PC, to provide indigent defense counsel services and serve as assigned counsel administrator at a cost of $100 per hour, paid for with state funding. This agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney's office.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Linda, could you come up and do an introduction and a little explanation of what this is?
I'm Linda Gable, I'm the court administrator, and this is Chuck Close. And I'm actually going to let him talk a little bit about what this is, so.
The state of Michigan has instituted minimum standards for indigent defense counsel service in the state of Michigan. It's a new program funded by the state, and what it does is it sets certain standards for indigent defense counsel. Up until this time, it's always been kind of a hit and miss. The complaints really nationwide are is that court-appointed attorneys don't have the resources, they have a heavy docket, and they're not providing quality defense to individuals who can't afford an attorney. This program serves to set certain minimal standards for indigent defense counsel through the Michigan Independent Defense Counsel Services Program. We have complied with it. I have been providing defense counsel services in the city of Wayne for the past 20 years. I also assist the court in their mental health division. This program is totally funded by the state. There's no cost to the city. The money has already been allocated. And I think it'll be bring the level of defense counsel services up to where it should be to guarantee equal protection under the law.
Okay, great. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4D, approve the appointment of Tina Stanky to the position of Wayne City Clerk.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? I believe Ms. Stanky is in the audience tonight. Did you have anything you would like to say, or?
Good evening, council. First, I'd like to say I'm just pleased to have the opportunity to be employed in the city that I grew up in. I raised my children here. My grandparents lived here, bought my first house here. So for me, it's like coming home. And I've worked with Eileen for a number of years as her deputy clerk, and I was the election clerk before that. So I look forward to learning the processes of the city clerk's office. So thank you.
Great.
Appreciate it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome.
And I gave a really big clap. Item 5, administration reports.
Through the chair.
Yep.
I have a few items tonight, and then we have some updates from a few of the, I'm so sorry, a few of the other departments. But first tonight, there was a question that Councilman Miller, you had asked at the last meeting that we provide a report on Metro Storage property, the former Wayne Activity and Banquet Center, and the status also of All Saints property. I'm going to have Ms. Goen come up this evening to provide that report to you, as promised.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. As you know, typically, we don't give updates on private development, but it's kind of something that when you do that and you put something out there in public, it could cause issues for the individual doing the development. However, I did get permission from both of these individuals, as well as Mr. Kennedy, to share their progress with you. Mr. Kennedy, I actually spoke with him. I'm not sure what we were concerned, if there was a specific concern with his development, but as you've all driven by the former Frank's Furniture site, the building is up, the drywall is up, facilities are going in. He's hoping to finalize things within the next couple of months and have a ribbon cutting ceremony. In regards to Mr. Palladino, the WABC building, absolutely thrilled. I know there was, the rumor mill out there that he was not going to do his brewery. However, he is still working on that. He's been working with Mike Byton and actually Jeremy Schneider to figure out a way to make this project work, and they gave him a solution. He has hired an architect. Actually, this week he's in Florida touring some other breweries to get an idea of what all they want to do. They've been working, I'm sure you see the activity and the stuff outside that building. They're constantly working in there. They've done as much as they can do as far as removing old cabinets and things like that without permits, that don't require permits, I should say. And then when the time comes, they'll pull the necessary permits and hopefully complete their project. And then the last update, that would be the Metro Storage update. The individual that purchased that property is Tim Judge, and as all of you do know, the reason that he did not go forward with that project is because of construction costs, significantly higher than what he had projected. So he was looking at possibly reformulating his project, maybe taking it to a one-story building and downsizing it slightly. The bottom line here is that the property is sold. He's not real pleased with the amount of property taxes he's having to pay on vacant land since part of it's contaminated, but for our sake, we are collecting money on that site. He has $225,000 out of his own pocket into that site so far, between testing and things that he's had to do, utility work. He's going to wait out this construction season. He said the prices are still up there, and he's hoping that next construction season he should be fine. He did indicate to me that if council is finding this to be an issue, that, that the site's not developed already, it was already vacant land, that he would sell the property to someone at $225,000 of what he has into it. So obviously we don't want that to happen. We want to see Mr. Judge develop this property. He's a good developer, and I don't want him to develop a project that's not going to be successful. So there was a clause in his contract that was brought up by the previous council. They were very concerned with that he had 180 days. Well, it's from the time all of his permits are pulled. He hasn't pulled permits yet. So the project has not started. He's paying his taxes, like I said, and he's going to be a good corporate citizen. So appreciate the opportunity to give all of you an update. And if there's any questions, if it's appropriate, I'll take that, or we can answer at the next meeting, whatever the wish of the mayor is.
Mayor Reese, I have a couple questions here. First of all, the WABC building, has he pulled a liquor license yet?
No, he is not.
Okay.
He
And
did
then,
apply, just so you know, yes, he did apply to us, but we have not submitted the paperwork until he starts the next phase of his project, but he did apply.
okay, thank you. And then also thirdly, on the dollar sale property next to the police station, If I recall, and I don't remember all the logistics of the contract, but there was something about an 18-month agreement extension there, and also
I
about-
said 180 days, I'm sorry, 18 months.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I just covered.
And then also, I forgot the question here, was that the Brownsfield application for it, so that's also.
Brownfield, that
Brownfield, I'm
is,
sorry, yes.
nothing starts with that until he starts construction. So that's in place, it's all been approved. So as soon as he starts his work and his remediation, nothing's going to happen until he submits invoices to us and starts paying taxes. So it would be after the project's already complete. That's when he would submit invoices to us. He would pay his taxes like normal, as you all know. And then per his agreement, he would get back X amount of dollars a year after he pays his taxes. So there's no time limit on that.
Thank you.
Got one question, just
Sure, of
for
course.
clarification. What is the construction season, when you say construction season? What is that normally?
Typically, they'll start in the spring, March, April, until, I would imagine they go till September, October.
And so you're basically saying he's going to,
He's not going to start this.
next year?
It'll be next season.
2020.
Next spring season.
Just wanted to just make sure people understood for sure what that meant.
Yes, he did say he's in a holding pattern
Okay,
until he can get his costs down.
okay. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead. Back to you.
Okay, all right. thanks.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions for you. Thank you. Who's on first, right? All right, there was just before I go into a couple of more reports, Nancy Pride had asked a question at the last meeting. I'm sorry she's not here this evening, but she had asked a question about the lighting. She had stated that with the LED change out and with the new lights, does the south side of town pay more for lighting than the DDA with the new LED lights? And I spoke to Mike Byton about this, who is our Buildings and Engineering Director. And Mike said that the answer to that is the increase or decrease in street lighting rates is based on the annual change of the total cost. So to answer the question, everyone paying for street lighting benefited equally when we changed a portion of our lights to LED. So I hope that answers Nancy's question. Nancy, speaking of Nancy, we have our Senior Services Director here. She has a couple of items she'd like to talk about this evening and make the public aware.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, members, I guess, since we have a lady councilman, I don't want to say men. As the city manager mentioned, I'm the Senior Services Director. I just want to update you on some of the great programs we have going. And a lot of our programs are free because they're grants through Beaumont or the National Kidney Society. The first one is the Diabetic Path Program. This one did start, so you'd have to call to see if they would still allow you to join the class. But it's basically called Diabetic Path. Stands for Personal Action Towards Your Health. So it tries to teach people how to better take care of themselves to avoid diabetes. Or if you already have type 2 diabetes, how to make sure that you maintain it above and beyond your doctor's information. So if you're, all this stuff that I'm going to give to you, if you want to call me or pick up flyers either out front or at the Hype Center, you're more than welcome to. The other program is called Smart Drivers. This is a program through AARP. Most of you should know that by the time you hit 50, your body has changed and you have aged, and you need to figure out ways to change how you drive so that you can stay safe. The program runs 2 half-a-days. It's Wednesday, March 13th and Thursday, March 14th from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. It basically talks about defensive driving, proven safety strategies. There's no test. It's all confidential. It does not affect your license one way or the other. It's $15 if you're an AARP member and $20 if you are not. Again, we'd love you to call so we can make sure we have a spot for you. One of our free programs is Wednesday, March 20th. It's through the Elder Law and Advocacy Center. They will do a presentation covering guardianship, conservatorship, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, nursing homes, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. When they're done discussing it, you can sign up to talk to an attorney, and they will help you do some minor adjustments to your wills or set up a time to prepare a will for you. This one, walk-ins are welcome, but we'd prefer that you at least reserve if you can. That way we know how many chairs, and she knows how much stuff to bring to be able to pass out to you. This one I think I mentioned before when we finally brought. It's called it's called Driver's Tech. Again, another program through AARP. This is a free program. Thursday, March 28th, 9:30 to 11. This is to help you understand all the great technology in your car so that you can better be a safer driver. Such as if you have the rear backup system, it reminds you that you have to clean it off. You can't just expect it to work if it's dirty. It explains what the lights on your side view mirror means. And I know when you get a car, they usually tell you, but they take like 20 minutes, rush you through. And then once you get home, you start thinking of, I don't remember how this works, or I'm not sure what this does. So this is another thing to help you be safe on the, on the road. You call me directly to sign up. And then, let me skip through. I just really quickly want to mention all the great trips we have. We do a lot of day trips because the changes in my sometimes travelers, a lot of them do not like overnight or extended. So March 27th, we have the Spring Progressive Dinner. You basically are going to jump to different places for appetizers, lunch, etc. We have a trip going in April as well to the DSO. So you can end up, and then you're going to have lunch at the traffic jam. To start saving money, this is an overnight trip. It's to the Ark Encounter. It's going to be May 2nd and May 3rd. You can put a deposit and slowly pay on it. This is a chance for you to see the Creation Museum, the actual Ark, and you have a breakfast and dinner included in it. And that pretty much concludes all the great stuff that we have coming through our department. So any questions for anybody, or I'm good? I'm good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. I see our library director's here this evening. I don't know if you had any updates. Are you good, Jody? All right, you did everything great last time, so. Before I go to the, couple more, I just wanted to remind the council, I gave you a copy of the new gas tax proposal that's coming from the governor's office. And I just learned that my sister actually works for Wayne County, or for Oakland County Roads, and she was saying that, just gave me an update that the state is talking about taking 70% of that. So that would be 30% for the rest of us. That includes the counties. So that doesn't leave much for us, but it is something that I think that if you want to be vocal on, now's the time to make the calls and really get to know what this gas tax is about. Certainly, we do need the infrastructure. We don't have enough funding to take care of everything. I don't know if this is the right plan. I don't know what the right plan is, but it'd be a good idea to really read through this because it's got a lot of good information. And feel free to scan it and share it with the public as well, so they are aware. Certainly. I know that we have Ken here from the museum with the Sesquicentennial Minute.
Good evening. My name is Ken Hafley. John Mills couldn't make it today, so he asked me to stand in for him. Today's Sesquicentennial Minute is on farming in Wayne. For the first 50 years, Wayne was largely an agricultural village. The land was fertile and available at a good price, making it easier for families to make a living by farming. Before modern-day equipment, horse-drawn plows were used to prepare the land for new crops every planting season. A single furrow plow created one narrow trench in the ground for planting seeds and for irrigation. Usually one horse would be enough to plow light soil, but in Wayne, the soil was heavier and more horsepower was a must. Mainstream crops grown around Wayne included grain, corn, potatoes, and sugar beets. In the 1870 agricultural census, J.H. Steers harvested 100 bushels of oats, while Jacob Stellwagen harvested 200 bushels of oats, 70 bushels of winter wheat, and 150 bushels of Indian corn. And E. Howard harvested 786 bushels of oats, 139 bushels of winter wheat, 250 bushels of rye, 350 bushels of Indian corn, and 120 bushels of barley. Wayne was also known for its dairy and sheep farms. Chickens were an important staple on every farm for their eggs and their meat, but in later years, breeding and showing exotic chicken species became a social event in Wayne. Again, in the 1870 agriculture census, J.H. Steers had 2 horses, 1 beef cow, 4 swine. Jacob Stellwagen had 2 horses, 4 milk cows, and 1 swine, while E. Howard had 5 horses, 20 milk cows, 2 working oxen, 10 beef cattle, 40 sheep, and 20 swine. As technology evolved, tractors replaced horses and farm work became more mechanized. This meant farms could expand and increase production into the 20th century. During the 1950s, as Detroit suburbs began to develop, much of Wayne's farmland was developed for housing and industry. That's what I have. Now, do you get a copy of this, or does everyone have copies? Do you want it? I mean,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I know Eileen had something to say. I just wanted to see, the city attorney, do you have anything this evening?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. Mr. Hara is on you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I've been here for a short time, and I'm going to tell you that I've worked at all levels of government. I've been at the state, I've been with the school district, I've been with the county, I've been with the city of Westland. This is one of the most helpful, friendly staffs I've ever worked with. Everyone, I've had directors come in and introduce themselves. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. The citizens have been very accepting to me. Not one has given me a hard time, believe it or not. Lisa, you've been wonderful. I want to thank you for all your help and your leadership. Council, you've been great. I've kind of interrupted a couple meetings, and you accepted that, and you haven't given me a hard time about it, and I want to thank you very much. I feel Tina has worked with me for 12 years and been my deputy for 8.5 years when we were at the city of Westland. And I am absolutely confident she's going to serve this city so well for many years to come. She has the knowledge of the job, the experience. Of course, with any new job, when I came, I had to kind of look back through previous minutes and that, because every city does things a little differently. It's going to be a learning process for her, so please have a little patience. But she's going to do a wonderful, wonderful job for you. Angie and Kathy, don't ever let them go anyplace. They are absolutely great. Nothing can happen in that clerk's office without them. I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity that you've given me to work with you and to know you and to have the wonderful experience I've had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. That'll conclude our report.
Thank you.
Public comments for matters not on the agenda. Citizens are to limit their comments or requests for 3 minutes. The City Council asks that if you do have a question or concern, to bring it to the attention of the appropriate departments whenever possible. If you feel the matter has not been resolved satisfactorily, you are encouraged to bring it to the attention of the city manager, and if still not resolved satisfactorily, to the mayor and/or the city council. The mayor and the city council and the department heads may not respond to the questions at the meeting, but will respond by the next city council meeting or as soon as possible, once they have looked into the matter.
Anything from the audience tonight? Mr. Powell?
Lenny Powell. I got 2 things coming up. The 23rd of March, we're bringing a autism forum to the city, basically to let people know how to deal with autism, what to do in case of emergency. You know, just a general forum. You can answer any questions. The guy's coming from Total Spectrum, free of charge, and it's going to be at Height at 9:30 on the 23rd. On the 24th, Wayneland Eagles, we're going to bring a CPR class, a couple of them. The first CPR class is going to start at 1 o'clock. It's going to be BLS, which is basic life support, and AED training. And that will give you a certification for 2 years. That's going to be $50. And then at 4:30, if you want a different one, it's going to be BLS, AED, and first aid. And that's $10 more for $60.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Oscar?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and good folks of Wayne.
I am going to give you a quick update from Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's office, a legislation update and a district update. And I'll try to keep it quick as possible since there's a lot of co-sponsorship. For legislation, this week, the big one is going to be for the PEOPLE Act being introduced by House Democrats. And the People's Act is better known as H.R. 1, is the first bill that the House Democrats are putting forward on the actual floor. And that one's going to be covering three main topics, which will be voting and election laws, campaign finance, and ethics. For co-sponsored bills this week, there's going to be about 15 of them. And just to name a couple of them, the Marijuana Justice Act, the Cool-Off Act, the Debt-Free College Act, the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund Act, Child Care for Working Families Act, Voting Rights Advancement Act of 2019, and Resolution for Formally Ending the Korean War Act. And let's see. Oh, and the Congresswoman is going to be in two committees tomorrow. This week, and tomorrow is going to be oversight. And the oversight committee is going to be the subcommittee on environment, and they'll be examining PFAS contaminations in chemicals, and that's going to be headed by the office's senior policy counsel, which is Andy Gutierrez. Now, on to district news. As you folks know, we have our service center that's open in River Rouge. We have good news. We have our lease for our flagship. So we'll be having a main office in Detroit. We're still working on our Western Wayne one, which we're thinking might be in Inkster. And we've also signed a lease for East Detroit as well. So we're still slowly but surely building our home in the 13th District. For events, we will be having on Thursday, March 21st, Congress, Coffee, and Conversations at the Maplewood Community Center in Garden City. That's going to be from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The address for that is 31735 Maplewood Street in Garden City. And there is actually one as well, the 16th. And that one's going to be a town hall with State Senator Erica Geis and House Rep Kevin Coleman. That one is going to be in Westland at John Glenn High School from 10:30 a.m. to 12. And I'd like to go over two wins that we've had this last couple of weeks. So with constituent services, I've kind of talked briefly about what incorporates or what involves constituent services, and it ranges from a bunch of things. So we want to make sure the public knows that if you have a question about anything, please feel free to reach out, and we can find the best resources as quickly as possible. And a little example would be a gentleman called our office about a couple weeks ago looking for his disability paycheck that was just in process for about 3 years. He finally got his paycheck. It was for $23,000. So that's a big win for him. And to the other spectrum, we have a resident who I helped, who is a disabled veteran in Detroit, whose apartment received fire damage about the same time he was going into surgery. So he had zero furniture, he had no bed. Luckily, with about a couple days' notice, we found him a bed after he got out of surgery. Those are the kind of the small things that we can do as well. Just find somebody to donate a bed, a brand new bed for him, and now he at least has a bed in his new apartment. So if there's any questions about anything, folks, I do have business card now, so I can hand those out. Thank you. If you have any questions, please find me after the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Kathy?
Kathy Rockwell Wayne. I'd like to thank Eileen for taking over for Matt and helping us. I've known her for 40 years and she never changes. And if she says that Tina is the one for the job, then I'm sure she's the right one. And her daughter Andrea is my neighbor. I look out my kitchen windows. She's coming home and going to work every day, her and her husband. And I think you made a wise choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead and move the agenda.
Item 6, items for the next agenda.
Okay, go ahead.
Item 7, there is no consent calendar items. Comments from members of City Council.
Okay, Councilman Wagner.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Eileen for stepping into this role on almost a moment's notice and working for our city for this short time. And also, thank you to Tina for coming to us. I'm sure it will work out very well. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Me?
Yes, sorry.
First, I wanted to congratulate Wayne Memorial Basketball on beating the third-ranked Canton team. And best of luck in district competition against, I think they have Catholic Central.
It's happening right now.
Oh, is it right now?
Yeah.
Maybe I got a score. Anyways, on to other things. Knights Columbus has an event on the 23rd, another dinner music show. Certainly you can go to their website or their Facebook page to get tickets. Wayne Baseball has 2 dates of registration scheduled, March 12th, 5:30 to 7:30, and March 16th, 12:30 to 2:30. Both are at the library. And also, you can visit the Facebook page and Wayne Baseball Association to download and communicate with the group. Lastly, I want to welcome back Tina and welcome aboard. We're here for you. And thank you for coming aboard with us. Looking forward to working with you. And lastly, with Eileen, are you sure you have to leave? Sure we got room?
My husband says yes.
Thank you for your support and insight and patience.
Councilman Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to start off by letting people know that St. Mary's is going to be starting having their fish fry events every Friday from March 8th all the way to all the way to April 13th, and that's between 4 and 7. Also, Laura Huron Water Trail meeting that's going to occur April 11th at 10 p.m. at the strategic, what's it called, Barnes, the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center. So I'd urge everyone to attend that. That's basically, they're going to be talking about some plans that they put together to develop and get your input about our Rouge River, that ribbons through our community as well. So I think it's very important that many of us input our voices. Also, there's going to be a public hearing coming up 3/19 at 8 p.m. regarding in or out of marijuana dispensaries, recreational marijuana. Also, the other day we had a passing. When I first came to Wayne, one of the things I noticed about Wayne was that a lot of hockey lovers in this community. I know I used to go to the community center and watch a lot of games with my friends after work. And this community's got a big heart for hockey. And yesterday we lost one of those people, and that was Ted Lindsay. And not only was he a great sportsman, but he was a great humanitarian person as well. Far better than he was just as good on ice, but even better off the ice. And with that reason, I bring this up because I'd like to ask the council to consider that we go ahead and have Autism Awareness Month for the city of Wayne in respect for Ted Lindsay. All he's done, not touched our hearts in this community, but throughout this whole region. Also, I would like to ask if the budget meeting, will that be a televised?
It's up to council.
That's something that,
We've got to decide where if we're gonna be sitting or not. If we're out in front with the table, it's harder to tell about.
I just thought I'd throw that question out just to get the residents heads up on that. And last but not least, when I attend Sunday service, there's more times than I see ever is the diversity of this community. And today's Punchki Day, and I want to share with you some of the heritage that we have in our community, our Polish community. And so I welcome everyone here after the meeting. Got more than a dozen of punchkis, of smaczne punchkis here. And you're all more than welcome to take one home. And with that, I will pass. Thank you.
Thank you. They're gone. They just left.
Oh, are they?
They got people in the hallway. Councilman Webster?
Thank you, Mayor. Eileen, don't be a stranger.
We got two officers here.
Tina, welcome. We all look forward to working with you. And, we understand it's going to be a learning process, so, we'll go through it together. So no worries. For those of you who don't know, March is Reading Month. So if you have any kids in school, please go volunteer. Sometimes volunteers are hard to come by, and I know the kids really appreciate it. So whether it's kids, grandkids, niece, nephew, just go out and read to them if you can. Don't forget the library hours are expanding starting April 1. They're going from 31 to 40 hours. So take advantage of that. Go into the library, use the resources that they're going to be offering you. I want to thank Karma Coffee for being gracious hosts to the coffee hour we had last week with State Rep Coleman and Senator Bohinke. It was a well-attended event. They did a fantastic job. And I actually mentioned to them when I was there about having punchkis, and they did listen and had them today, and they were absolutely delicious. So I just want to thank them for listening. And let's see. Our next Parks and Trails meeting is going to be March 12th here at City Hall, starting at 6 p.m. And with that, I'll pass.
Councilwoman Skill?
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to also thank Eileen for stepping in our time of need and filling in for us and doing a wonderful job, and just really, it was a tough time for us, but you just made it really easy. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And I wanted to thank also the administration for finding the perfect person for the spot, and Eileen helping with that as well. Thank you that you didn't get desperate and just take somebody that might not have worked out as well. I thank you that you waited for the perfect person. So thank you for that. I wanted to let everybody know that this Friday, March 8th, is the Distinguished Young Women will be having their 52nd annual showcase program. It'll be at Wayne Memorial at Stockmeyer Auditorium. It starts at 7 and tickets are $10. I also wanted to give everybody a baby update. Sorry, no baby yet. My grandson is not here. Nobody could be more disappointed about that than me. But so I just wanted to say to my grandson Logan that Nona and Mommy and Daddy is anxiously awaiting your arrival, and we can't wait to meet you. Let me see. Oh, okay. So my last thing is kind of long, and I may have a difficult time reading my own handwriting, but I'm going to try. I wanted to thank the administration, the city clerk, and the mayor for this evening's declaration for the month of March as Women's History Month. As a woman, this declaration means a lot to me, as I know it does to other women in the community. It's always good to reflect upon how far we have come as a nation and recognize women as different yet equal in worth to men. There is a part of the declaration that I highlighted that was my favorite, and I just want to read it. I'm not going to read the whole thing again, but whereas for generations, women have resolved conflicts in our homes, schools, and communities. They have rejected violence as counterproductive and stressed the need to restore respect, establish justice, and reduce the causes of conflict as the surest way to peace. I hope that during this month, women in our community will take time to reflect upon their own personal contributions that they make in their homes, their communities, and their workplaces. Don't be afraid to share with your daughters, your nieces, or your granddaughters some of the obstacles that you have overcome in life, and talk to them about the wide variety of opportunities afforded to them because of the achievements of those who have come before them. And with that, I wanted to say thank you very much for allowing me this time. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. Something I received today that sort of smacked me between the eyes. Will start out bad.
Michigan Department of Transportation sent a notice out saying, as of March 5th today, 12 people have died on Michigan roadways since last week, making a total of 133 this year. 80 more were seriously injured this week, for a statewide total of 671 to date. I think we need to pay a little more attention to our driving and maybe some of us older ones take the course that Nancy was talking about and do a little defensive driving. Moving on to things a little better. Thank you, Eileen, for all the help you've given us these past months. And welcome, Tina. We're looking forward to working with you, and we'll get a dog going here pretty shortly. Okay, that's all.
Thanks, Tom. I'll start with thanking Eileen. It's been great working with you. Just working, how we were able to get things to come together so quickly. I really appreciate everything that you've done for us, so thank you. And welcome again, Tina. We're looking forward to working with you. And not only is the men's basketball team, they won their division, or their division for basketball this year, but so did the girls team at Wayne Memorial. So we have two teams that are in the state playoffs right now. And once all that's concluded, I'd like to invite them to come and to get recognition from the city. I think that'd be great. It's something that's long overdue, but both teams have been doing outstanding, and something to really be proud about in our community. I want to talk about another person that's a Wayne Memorial graduate. Even though she goes to Ohio State, we still should be proud of her. But she actually was part of the NCAA championship team the last week with Ohio State that won the Big Ten at Michigan. And then she also won the individual with in the 200 meters with a time of 22:80. And she has the best record in the entire world right now this year. And she is the leader. She's number one to go into tournament in Alabama this weekend. So be cheering her on. I know her goal is to be in the Olympics someday, but she is taking college women's athletics by storm right now. And this is only her second year there, so she's got 2 more years. And very proud of her and excited for her. And once she comes home, I'd like to bring her also to our council meeting and recognize that. To have a Wayne Memorial graduate doing that's pretty amazing. So very, very proud of her. And then something really neat, and I want to thank Mayor Wild from the city of Westland. They haven't done this, I guess, in a long time. They had a veteran summit last Friday. And I was invited because we have a lot of veterans from Wayne that are involved in the different organizations over in Westland, because we don't have some of those things here. And we've agreed to having a Veterans Commission, that we're going to have all these different organizations working together, and they're going to meet on a regular basis, talking about stuff. One of the things that we focused on at this summit was talking about all the different days, and it's amazing all the different days that we have for our armed services that we just don't even realize about, and what different groups are doing, and trying to have them figure out what things are happening between our two cities and how they can work together and everything. And I think there's going to be some real good that's coming out of this, seeing these different groups working together and having some great things. I didn't realize I heard about it, but I didn't realize that there's one of the organizations that has a flag retiring ceremony every year that we can go to and start advertising that, to our cities and stuff. One of the things that was talked about was to all the different organizations said they wanted to be part of it, and to try to revive the Memorial Day Parade this year. So it'd be in Westland this year, but it's something that, if that's important to our community, we're going to try to figure out how to make that still happen. And also talking about just different things. Well, with that, the Wayne Fort Civic League and I believe it was Wayne Lawn Care purchased some trailers, and the VOTEC students are working on seating for some veterans that aren't able to walk the parade any longer, so that to make that easier for them to do it. So they're trying to find some solutions to make some of these things easier for veterans. But they definitely deserve to have their day. And even for Memorial Day, they know it's not about them, but it's to honor, their friends and the people that died for our country. But I'd like to see us have a bigger role, and we have some different veterans organizations here. And I know Maxwell's working on getting me a number, but there's a large percentage of veterans just here in our city that we maybe could address and have some better interactions and see what we can do to help them and see what we can do better for our veterans that sacrificed for us. So, let's see. Anything else? Nope. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn tonight?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Don't hit that.